Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, as I've been telling people for many years, there's a specific process, a super important way to manifest energies. And this requires a particular process and method that Radionic Tech has exclusively offering. Now, I've been recently watching these, which I've always for years, I always found it fascinating, these TV evangelists that basically are teaching satanic philosophy using the horn sign. It's quite fascinating with the latest research in this area, but they are known for getting people into altered states of consciousness. Now, as the pretty much Radionic Tech system states, you have to be in altered states to be able to manifest anything. Generally, this starts with getting into the 7.8 hertz mind frequency level that has been researched by many people over the last 50 years to be the the gate state to manifest. And again, this is a gate state. This is not the state that you manifest from, but this is what you go into to be able to then connect to higher sources of manifestation energies. So this is very critical. So just zoning out, taking your ayahuasca shit, drugging yourself out like a madman. Well, all this stuff is worthless because it's not putting you into the state to connect with the higher, quote, streams of consciousness that Radionic Tech has pioneered for many years. The soul force, the higher elements of consciousness you need to get into. So the whole idea is that, as stated in what can you manifest, the critical aspect to a lot of things is going into the altered state or trance state, but not any trance state, not the doper trance state. Oh, does that upset you, all you little dope heads out there? Yeah, dude, I got a brain tumor and I've seen the other side because I ate mushrooms. I'm Terrence McKenna. So the whole idea is that all these things that go with this false reality, these bogus people who are basically instruments of the control factor, they're controlled by criminal elements of the society, the Satanists, the government, that use them because they're too cowardice to get the information the mushrooms should say, which is you should die for your cause, baby. So the whole idea is that this is the reality we need to look at. But let's get back into these. Now, I've always been fascinated by Benny Voodoo Hinn and his ministry. Is it a ministry? A ministry of his satanic beliefs, where you become God again, which is the principal reality of satanic belief systems. Satanism teaches that you can become God. That way you don't need God. So you don't follow the higher teachings or the inspirational energy that the, quote, manifesting God force gives you. It doesn't work in the comic book reality that we have out there. It's very important to understand that, but let's not speak too much truth here. It confuses me, Dr. Thor. I'm used to listening to all the crap, and, I love them comic book gods. So the whole idea is, yes, dumb guy, we know where you're coming from. So the whole idea is that all of this is part of this unique training system that only Radionic Tech offers. Only technology that is 50th century and beyond. The only technology that can change your life. So, do you understand that? Well, lots of things out there are little assist. Baby assist. It helped me a little bit. I'm still living in the poo. So the whole idea is that that's where you're at. And by supporting others, you support the poo principle. Little poos are okay. So the whole idea is that we need to move through all these things that we have. So let's get back to this. It's really fascinating. These TV evangelists, Kenneth Copeland, who is 100% purely evil. I mean, just look at his face. He's got reptilian eyes. He's an emotional baby. He's got violent streaks. And let's give him a $50 million plane to bring Satanism to the world under the guise of Jesus. So, it's just really unbelievable. And of course, all these other prosperity ministers that are out there, it's quite fascinating. They're all demonic entities tricking you. And at least there are some Christians in their deluded reality that get this and understand the ridiculousness of all their teachings. Speaking in tongues is just being possessed. So they speak in tongues, allowing the demonic possession to take them, and this is how it works. Speaking in tongues, which is in the Bible, is the reality of satanic possession. Speaking in tongues meant speaking in other languages. I wish that most Christians would get it, but of course, they're hillbillies, mostly from Texas and Georgia. Yeah, we know what's going on. We got murdered people for years. So let's make sure we understand the reality of these corrupt, filth states of degradation feces that they perpetrate and spit upon you as the reality that they want you. But let's go back to Benny Boo Boo Hinn, who's, I believe it's his own brother, who actually has diabetes. He can't cure nobody. And there's been investigations into Benny Hinn that he's cured absolutely nobody. Now, why? Why is this? Because what he's doing in terms of the brain reality, the mind things that people think are so potent, which the mind is not potent. The mind can do absolutely nothing. And this is another fallacy that's been taught to you. Positive thinking. Think and grow rich. Napoleon Hill, one of the biggest con artists there ever was, and all the people involved in these realities out there. So, but of course, they're all spun around a golden thread of truth, but the filth of what they're spun around them pollutes everything there. So, we have to understand that the actual fallacy of all these things is the fact that we have to fully understand that altered states of consciousness trancing out, unless that trance connects you to the proper source of information, is worthless. And of course, that's what happens. So there is not any Christian minister that is healing people, or for that matter, producing fake prosperity, that has achieved anything. They have nobody to point to say it worked for them. And we got to remember we have to first eliminate the 5 or 10% of people that say it works for them, because this is statistically going to work for everybody. So we have to understand that if you get 10 million people following the system, a certain percentage of them, 10 to 20% probably, will get some sort of results, with 2 or 3% getting amazing results, because it's just a method of channeling. So when you go into altered states, which is required for manifestation, you are then in the vortex, the opening, to connect to the higher real empowerment states. I hope everyone gets that. You go into what's considered 7.28 hertz, and you are now able to access the higher levels. You get that? You're not accessing them yet. You have to connect to the string of empowerment. Now, this is the string, or as I like to use the term, stream of energy that then will change your life, whether that's for healing, prosperity, love, whatever you're seeking for, wisdom, higher empowerments in general. This is the vortex, the opening of the door. Very, very important to understand that. It is not connecting to the actual stream of empowerment. Now, when you look at these masses of boobalicious fools that go there and spend tens of thousands of dollars to obtain a miracle, thinking that, well, this is modern world, Dr. Thor. You got to pay for miracles. After all, Jesus needs a gold toilet. So the whole idea is that we need to pay the spirits, like money has any value in any kind of higher level. Well, I'll tell you right now, it doesn't. Money is the worst possible. This is what ties you to the earth. So there's basically 3 to 4 things that tie you to the earth. Basically, it's 4. Money, sex, food, and of course, religion. These are the 4 demons you need to avoid. So these people who are in very ecstatic trance states, being psyched up with thousands of people, some of these are in stadiums, around them, all thinking the same thing, all believing the same thing. There's music. There's support of someone on the stage psyching you up further. So this should be very potent tools to change almost anything in the world. So the positive thinking gurus want to tell you, your mind can do anything, Dr. Doll. Or the fact of that, I'm connecting to God. You're not connecting to God by opening up the door. You have to connect to the stream to God, which none of these people have. So I hope you're getting all this. This is a very critical understanding that you need to get in the bigger picture. So once we understand all that stuff, things become very clear of why certain systems work over others. Now, the radionic tech system is the finest system ever produced and gives you the best possible results. The problem is that you've been taught by bogus boobs, fools of demonic energy, that somehow this should be an Aladdin's lamp that you rub and it pops up. That's not how things work. Get away from that stupidity. And that's, of course, what these satanic ministers are preaching as well. That you are God, that you can manifest anything by giving him money, and this is how it all works. It's amazing how this con works with people. So here you are in a stadium with 20, 30, 50,000 other people, all concentrating on the same divine principle. It doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Well, it's fairly simple of why it doesn't work and fairly complex in the same way. But the whole idea, if you expect anybody that is catering to the masses in any way whatsoever to produce anything for you, then you have a problem. Anybody who is too popular is a fraud. That's how it works in this reality, and they are 110% controlled by the actual evil forces that run this reality. Get it? So, why aren't they getting the results? I mean, after all, believing the brain people, the positive thinking people, you're producing huge amounts of energy. Well, energy means absolutely nothing. You have to be connected to the finite understanding, to the stream of manifestation for that particular energy. So that stream that has to be opened up has to be connected to what you want. Healing, finance, whatever it may be, you have to connect to that stream of influence or empowerment beyond the fact of just being tranced out, dude. You're taking the ayahuasca. Yeah. I never met an ayahuasca person who wasn't a dumb, evil scumbucket. So if you're using those drugs, get off of them. They're connecting you to the hell plane. So, these are all the things that are perpetrated. I've dealt recently with 2 ayahuasca dudes who were cowards, who were corrupt, who were totally effed up in every way you could possibly think of, and you want to stay away from that. And of course we can include Tones McKenna. Oh, I'm a genius. I picked up trash on the beach in San Francisco and got a degree. I live under a giant electromagnetic antenna, and my brain is fried. I got a giant tumor that killed me. I'm so smart. So these are the kind of people that if you're following, you're an idiot. So, and there's very little to no hope for you. You'll probably end up like him, a piling mass of feces flushed down the world toilet. So the whole idea is that we need to understand all those things going with this. So, taking this all into consideration has to be something we fully understand to the bigger picture here. So the fact is that these people, there's never been a single case of healing connected to Benny Hinn, the Palestinian Christian who has been called to the service of bogus Christ. It's insulting even calling him a person connected to Jesus. So even that realm is too high to include the scum of him, or people like Kenneth Copeland, the possessed demon that he is. I mean, all you have to do is look at him. This guy is a demon. So the whole idea is we need to understand. So why doesn't it work? You would think if it's been talked about in New Age circles, and of course positive thinking, that you get a whole group of people together, they concentrate on something, and it manifests. Well, we have 100% proof of this over at least 5 decades, 50 to 60 years, that this doesn't work. doesn't work. It doesn't manifest anything. Trying to go into demonic altered states and speaking in psychic babble, basically demonic talk, called speaking in tongues, creates absolutely nothing. And people who do this are at the lowest possible comic book level of stupidity. So it's very important that everyone understands that. So there's nothing happens. Why? Because you haven't connected to the stream. You've opened the door into a giant abyss. And of course, that's step one. But, life isn't about step one. Life isn't about building a better body because you go to the gym for a day or a week. Or you eat good organic or good foods for a day or a week or a month. And that's not. That's opening the door. You get changes through consistent application of what you believe in. It's eating all the time. It's eating for months. It's working out for months. Oh, I don't like that, Dr. Joy. Isn't there a pill I can take? Isn't there a hormone that makes me muscles big? Yeah, I did that for years. I took it. I was addicted. I'm a crazy, horny bastard who works for the crap society. Yeah, I said it all. I smoke the dope. I have the orgies. Yeah, I'm Arnold. So the whole idea is it doesn't work. So, none of it works because you have to connect to the stream. Well, how do you connect to the stream? Well, that's what radionic tech is all about. Connecting to the stream is what our energy cells are all about. They're created specifically to connect you to that stream of empowerment, money, influence, uncrossing, protection, chakra opener. You have to connect to that stream. It's more than just opening the door. It's connecting to the stream, and only radionic tech offers this. So that's what it's all about. Now, the stronger you are able personally to connect to the stream, which has to do with a lot of different areas. Oh, you can't get a little tool. Oh, isn't that sad? Oh, I want to do it in seconds for 3 cents. Can't I have a gumball machine quarter and change my life? Well, I'm afraid, dumb guy, that's not the way it is. So, the tools are there. You have to apply yourself, and you're part of the process. That's part of the actual filtering process that goes on. But, of course, you don't like to hear that. You want to pay thousands for something that doesn't work because you think you don't have to do any work. Give to the minister. He will make it happen for you. Doesn't work. So the whole idea is that what does work is you using the proper tools to connect to the streams. And as you own these things over literally years, people, and work with them, you would go to higher and higher levels of empowerment. Now, of course, they work for you instantly to a degree, but the levels of changing and empowerment that people want take weeks, months, and even years to achieve, and you have to continue to use them. This gets back to the point of, do you get good physical results? I worked out for a week, Dr. Daw. How come I don't look like Arnie? So I ate good food. How come I'm still fat? I did it for a whole week. Well, this doesn't work. It's a lifestyle. And that's what it's meant to be, because it's no instantaneous changes have value to the greater good. Do you want a club full, you want to ascend into a reality full of the scum that are on this planet now? Well, if you do, you're the sucker of suckers. So the whole idea is you want to ascend into an exclusive elite club of those who are thinking and acting like you are and not be stuck in the same crap that you just left. It's not complicated, people. Think about it. So all these gumball realities of putting a quarter in and getting your life changing is a fantasy that is played upon by everybody. We all want this. We want results. We want perfect bodies. We want perfect realities. We want to be empowered by, of course, put the quarter in the machine, turn the gumball machine, take the plastic thing out, open it up, and you are now empowered. Well, nice little concept that just doesn't work. So the whole idea with all of this is not. So we have pretty much as usual, things have been proven for many, many years. It's just that they're not interpreted right by the right people. So we do know that massive empowerment in stadiums of people produces absolutely nothing. There's been, of course, the bogus reality of people who cast hypnotic spells on people and made them do things. And of course, that was the excuse of why Hitler hypnotized everyone to make them into psychotic, deviant murderers, when of course that's the German race. You don't have to do anything to make them into psychotic murderers. That's normal for them. So if you think that somebody influenced somebody is kind of a joke. But of course, everything's a joke, period. If you're living in the delusions fed to you and spoon-fed to you, shoved down your throat, preparing you for the pate of lies, well, that's what you've got. But we know this doesn't work, and it's fascinating. Again, we have proof of this. These people who make billions of dollars a year have been producing these massive amounts of energy 200-300 times a year, and there's just many of them that do this. And what does that mean? What does that happen? What are the people there? So all of this works into a kind of fascinating reality of what's going on to this world. So, as usual, the answers are always with the people that are the least supported. And of course, Radionic Tech has all the answers. Follow our systems, and we've never had a failure. Do you think you want to rise to the level of corruption of Bill Gates or the buffoonish slobs out there like Elon Blofeld Musk? Whoa, me make electric car, me genius. Technology 150 years old. Yeah. So this is all the things you get from these idiots. So if you think these people are great or empowered, you want to be as successful as the loser Tom Cruise, who can't even keep a woman, who uses surgery to look pretty because his mind can't do it through stupidology. So stupidology and all these other things are nothing more than traps for everyone. So we need to understand this and understand what's happening in the bigger picture here so that you can survive and prosper yourself. It's all there. But here it is. Ministers, there's at least 10 or 15 of these, probably up to 50 if we go down to all the little twerps out there that are producing these massive energetic consciousness, or I should say trance states in their tent revivals, whether that's a stadium or a tent, like Popoff, the German guy, and the other German guy. Whoa, you go to Jesus and give me lots of crap. I will buy beer and crap with it. So the whole idea is that this is what you get from these people. So this is a continuation of the satanic current that is really taking the entire country, and the Christians are assisting the process. They are not fighting against it. So we do have to understand that all these things are part and parcel of these lies and deceptions that are out there. So it's not about opening the vortex. It's not even about going into this brain frequency level, which I frankly doubt Christians get into, this 8 hertz basically, to give it a general understanding. 7 point, that's just nonsense to think there's any difference between 7.8 and 8%. So the whole idea is these kind of things are actually what's out there to be able to produce the kind of life-changing results using this type of technology. So this is, as again, is talked about in how you can manifest in our basic course number 1 and 2 that I put out there. These life-saving, fantastic courses that everyone should be obtaining. So very, very interesting, this observation, which of course only a person at the state of gnosis can perceive. When you look at something and you're in a state of gnosis, you can see what works and what doesn't work. That's why gnosis is so valuable. It's not about being able to detect fraud, which is very important because people waste their time and their energy and their money, all of which is extremely limited. You're given about 60 years here in terms of functional time, and that goes by with a blink of an eye. So if you're wasting your time and money on systems that don't work, you are being murdered. So understand that. So understanding what works and what doesn't work is critical, but also understanding what does work in terms of where you spend your time and money is critical for your survival, and prospering. You don't have much time, people. That's the other catch-22 of this reality. So the whole idea is that massive psychic empowerment. And all these people are thinking what? Positive. They're all psyched up positively. And positive thinking is one of the most ridiculous ruses that has been perpetrated on the American public. It doesn't work. That doesn't mean you think failure. But it doesn't mean that you positively think. And of course, the bottom line is that what do all these systems tell you in the end? You didn't believe enough. Your faith wasn't great enough. It didn't bring it to you. They're all taught this in satanic school of bogus lies, as is the positive thinking are, as is the New Thought people. And ironically, Scientology teaches the same thing. They don't fight for you. They don't go out there and say, evil caused this. You caused it, you cowardice Scientologist scum. And of course, very typical of the fat mental case ridiculous that L. Ron Hubbard was, the demonic entity he was, is that he never really did anything to go and fight for any cause but his own pocketbook. He certainly didn't fight for the individuals. When something came up in your life, they said this happened because you did something wrong in a past life. More that we can pile on the heap dung of filth, otherwise known as Scientology, and those stupid fools who have donated their entire life and hundreds of millions of dollars to support. Well, it's pretty sad. And of course, there's a lot of crybaby Scientologists now screaming everywhere that they were tricked. Well, there was no gun to your head, baby. Maybe you should have dropped out and woke up the fact when they kept coming to your door asking for tens of thousands, which they easily gave, to create a fascist system of control over people that they claim they were watched. Ooh, you were watched. They didn't have the courage to break away. More Scientology cowardism, which really defines their entire system. They're cowards. Well, what's new of the world? There's nothing new going on with all of that. So here we get the mass energy of all these people studying systems for 20 and 30 years, like with Scientology, and can't produce anything because they are not connected to the streams of empowerment. L. Ron Hubbard did nothing, died a bumbling mass of stupidity and mental illness, as of all of his pretty much followers, as it goes with all of the other people that are out there perpetrating these frauds, including these billions upon billions, tens, 20, hundreds of billions of dollars that go to these false ministers, that people that have nothing are happy to give money so that the head of their bogus satanic cult can travel around the world in luxury. So using something as a business tool, of course, I can understand, and having your own plane probably is a very valuable to do. But the whole idea is that it is a con agent's game. It doesn't manifest. These ministries have done nothing. I don't see their massive housing projects to help the poor, to help their own, to do anything. They have absolutely nothing to show for it but mansions and many jets. Many things that don't participate in anything more than getting out a weak, snivelly, con artist, satanic message to the people around the world that will never get anything from it. But, of course, living in a comic book world is better than living in the real world. After all, comic book worlds are supposed to change themselves. And, of course, other worlds, well, you can't change that because there's nothing you can do, right? Well, that's, of course, the cold, cruel reality of this world. So keeping that all in mind, we have to understand that. So the bottom line is that altered states, tens of thousands of people thinking the same thing, do not create change. What creates change is connecting to the streams of empowerment, which radionic tech teaches you how to do. And remember, the radionic temple is the answer to everything. It's not just a technology. It's not just tools to use to change your life. It's a spiritual understanding, and it's important that you get involved in this process so that you can change your life. And this is something that is critically needs to be done, and as such, we will be able to change your personal reality, and you will be those people, not the 50,000 in a stadium praying to a bogus God, creating energies that don't work. You will be part of those that changes your life and changes your course, and of course brings you to a state of ascension, so you don't have to come back to the sewer. You don't have to see Kenneth Demon Copeland or all these other people, Benny the Fraud Demon Hen. All of these people are the curse of this world, and if you get caught in their web of deceit, it's going to bring you down. Recognize by reaching the state of gnosis who has the proper message, who's going to liberate you and empower you. And of course, in the end, that's up to you. Do you get it? Do you not get it? Do you survive? Do you prosper? Well, that's really up to you, isn't it? Until next time.